Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. So, since it's the Western Conference Finals, my brain is doing all the stuff that it does. I'm going to talk about the Lakers. It's the most important time of the year for a Laker fan because we're close as we possibly gotten 2 years to a championship, 3 years in a championship. So, all right. The Boston Celtics are not who we're talking about. We're talking about the LA Lakers. We're talking about the Denver Nuggets. I'd say Boston for no reason, so ignore that. But nevertheless, the Denver Nuggets are not going to be able to keep many leads against the Los Angeles Lakers, in my humble opinion, because at the end of the day, two things that they don't do well. They don't defend very well at all without Nikola Jokic on the floor. They don't really have much of anything. So that's going to mess with them in regards to keeping leads. Also, defensively, they can't stop the Lakers. We proved that even when we were struggling, we could still score on them. No problem. There's a lot of things in that game you can be encouraged by, including the fact that when the Denver Nuggets were having success, there were things going on that you ain't never going to see the Lakers do at the same time ever again. One, play lethargic like they did while being small. You ain't going to find those two things happening at the same time in this series anymore. If we go small, we're not going to play lethargic. If we play lethargic, we probably won't be small. That's one thing. Two, Nikola Jokic went for 15 points, 15 rebounds, 2 blocks, 6 assists in the first quarter. If he can do that again, we don't even have to play any more basketball. Just give him a trophy. Let's you know what I'm saying? If he's going to be the greatest player of all time, why risk our health going against that man? Ain't going against him. He's going to win. Let's stay healthy and get out of the season healthy. Give him the trophy, and let's build upon next year. Draft our 17th. That's what that is. If he's going to do that every first quarter, we're going to lose every game anyway. It's not going to happen again. Another thing I don't expect to happen again, even though the Denver Nuggets are a highly efficient three-point shooting team, they ain't as highly efficient as they were last night. The shots that they were hitting last night, particularly down the stretch, them last couple threes, it's like, bro, if y'all can hit those shots on the road, we'll tip our hat. But there ain't no way in hell you're hitting those shots on any other night in this series. It's not happening. Not only that, but for you to be in that position, you needed us to be lax and to give you them 30 rebounds in the first quarter that we gave you by going small that you had and playing lethargic to start the game, which again ain't gonna happen. So there's a lot of things that worked in the Denver Nuggets' favor that is uncharacteristic to the Los Angeles Lakers that played out in that game. Now the flip side of that is how well the Lakers shot in the midst of all of that. We're not gonna shoot as well as we did, so it's probably gonna balance some things out. If we don't shoot as well, maybe they don't play as well, it'll still look more or less like what we saw, just a different version of it. So we gotta take that into account, how excellent the Los Angeles Lakers shot the basketball. And then Denver Nuggets, of course, shot it even better. So I think through the first quarter, you saw the Denver Nuggets really look great. The problem was they weren't going against the real Lakers. They weren't. They were going against the version of the Lakers that often hurts itself by going small and then making itself not good enough to rebound the ball or defend the ball in transition or in the half court or anywhere else. But we put the stuff on the floor that we expect to fail, and it did. And I think Denver Nuggets fans, and maybe this is the part of the psychology, maybe that's what it is. Denver thinks that they got us. Now they're looking at us like, okay, we've seen the Lakers. We know what they are. We can get them. Because I'm listening to the overall, surrounding of this conversation, and it seems like the Denver Nuggets are really excited about what they saw against the Lakers, which is on the surface obviously what it should be. But when you dig in and look at what it was, and you have an understanding of what the opponent was, which I do, then you know they didn't play the way they're normally going to play. You know that they were successful, the Denver Nuggets were, because your team did a bunch of stuff that it normally will never ever do again. Playing as poorly as it did to start that game. I see how our team starts games. We start fast, not like that. We were jogging up the court, kind of like, Those are the ways that we lose. We do that. Those are characteristic traits that this team has had all season long that they just happen to show in the first half of the first game of the series. And so if Denver thinks that's who's coming at them for the rest of the series, and that their good play is a result of them beating the Lakers, as we actually are, then we're about to sweep them from here. This series going to end in 5. Because all of the stuff that we do to make ourselves trash, we did to help them out, and they only won that game by 6. So if we play like we're supposed to play, maybe we shoot a little less efficient, but everything else should remain. And then from there, how do they look when we do what we're supposed to do? So I'll tell you the truth. The only thing the Denver Nuggets really need to be paying attention to is the fourth quarter of that game. Because that's what the Lakers look like when they getting themselves together. When they've seen what you did and react to it, this is what you end up dealing with next. Stretching drought, long droughts where your amazing defense, amazing offense couldn't score. That's what you saw. That's what the Golden State Warriors went through. And they blew us out by 27 or whatever it was in game 2. They had found something that worked. They thought they were going to come in the next game. And we blew them out by the same amount they blew us out. That's who we are. Dylan Brooks asked for 40. Bron gave him 20 and 20. And then proceeded in the closeout game to beat him by 40. That's who we are this season. So if Denver thinks that who they saw in the first half of this series, in this game, is what they're going to see going forward, I feel great about that as their opponent. And so that's what needs to be said. I want them to understand that. All of what you've been doing, Denver, throughout these entire playoffs has been against weak defense, including the first half of that game. All of it. Minnesota Timberwolves have not tested you defensively at all. Your offense looked fluid against them because of that. Phoenix Suns didn't test you defensively at all. Your offense looked fluid against them because of that. We did not test you in the first half of that basketball game. Your offense looked fluid because of that. When we finally tested you for the very first time in these playoffs, in the fourth quarter of that game, you saw what really it looks like. And unfortunately, you also saw the traits that the Lakers have that often hurt themselves, like LeBron James taking an ill-advised three-point shot. You know what I'm saying? That cost us the game. If he doesn't do that, we probably convert and turn it into an overtime situation. The Denver Nuggets have not been tested yet. And I hold my team to task with that being the case. Darvin Ham started this series deliberately wanting his team to look worse than it is. I hope that plays in our favor in the long run, because I think in some weird world, I'm seeing the evidence that it may be. It may be doing that right now. And we'll see how the Denver Nuggets come out in game 2 against us, and we'll see if that psychology has any effect in a positive way. But I really genuinely believe that we're about to take the Denver Nuggets by storm with what it is we're about to hit them with. I really believe that. I think they ain't seen us at our best yet. I think, in fact, they've seen us at our worst. And to be honest with you, they didn't impress. They did not impress. That's the reality of the game 1. If it wasn't for LeBron James doing that loser stuff that we've been complaining about all year long, about the ego correlation between decision making that correlates with losing, your ego leads you to bad decisions that leads us to being losers together. That stuff. Him not overcoming that demon is why we lost game 1 at the end of the day. It wasn't necessarily because Denver did anything that ultimately would have beat us had we done everything we were supposed to do. It's the truth. And that's on top of Jokic going crazy and Murray hitting every shot and them being overly efficient as a team. Ridiculously overly efficient. Because of their defensive struggles and their lack of ability to adjust to that in-game adjustment at the end, they only had a 6-point win in a game where they were up by 28 and had historic numbers from their center. So I feel good about this series as well as anybody can feel good about a series when you lose game 1. We could have lost game 1 a million different ways. That could have gave us a different psychology going into this game. But right now, we feel like we're about to win the next 4 games because of what we saw in the fourth quarter. That's how I feel. I feel like we're going to win 4 straight. Because the stuff that we did in the start the game should have scared us enough to where we'd never do any of those things again. And if we don't do any of those things again, that means we're doing things that are going to work. That's what that means. And we're testing out Denver's ability to stay out of foul trouble, to get something out of anyone other than Brown and, the guys that they're using in the starting lineup. Find a way to defend Anthony Davis. Find a way to get some scoring out of their power forward position so we can't crowd out Jokic. They got problems. Real ones. They're not going to be spotted 30 rebounds to start the game. We're probably not going to play Vanderbilt 11 minutes throughout the whole series. It's probably not going to happen. We're definitely not starting Schroeder again if we have any desire to be successful. So it's a lot of stuff that Denver benefited from that just flat out had to do with our schemes playing into their hands. Period. So If the coach wants to continue to play into their hands, and we'll continue to get that result. But judging by how things go throughout the course of the season, we usually cut it off. We usually get our satisfaction out of one loss. We don't usually want to string together several small ball losses. We only want one at a time, and then we proceed to win a couple games, and then we go back to small ball when we need to lose again. So, as crazy as that sounds, that's how it's been. That's exactly how this thing is going. So, for me as a Laker fan, it's like, well, we got our loss. I'm sure Genie's, we met our loss quota for the series, or at least got to the halfway point, since we must lose 2 games in each series. So probably we're going to win the next 3, and then we'll probably lose game 5, and then we'll come back and win game 6, and that's kind of how this thing looks like the script is set up. Just being honest. And so I don't know, man. I just feel like the narratives are misdirection. The Joker is an amazing player, but he doesn't have a better team. I've heard words used like outclass. His teammates outclass our teammates. Like, if you actually understand player assessment and you truly are assessing each and every one of these players, you know that that's a lie. This is a flat out lie, bro. It's just a lie. They don't have better talent than us. Some of their players outclass some of our guys, but the sum of their parts don't outclass the sum of ours. Not at all. Not even close. When you consider they got like 6 and 7 guys on the back of their bench that they're not going to show us at all, if they can help it, please. Enough. They don't outclass us. Bruce Brown is a fantastic young player, but he ain't better than D'Angelo Russell. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you want to pick apart the players that they got, you can look at Jeff Green. Is he really better than Vando? Hell no, he ain't better than Vando. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real. Jamal Murray. Is Jamal Murray better than LeBron James? Of course not. He ain't better than no damn LeBron James. So it's like, these are the type of things. It's like, all right, I get it. Y'all want to say the Nuggets are the team, they've earned what they've earned. I don't think they get talked about enough, to be honest with you. When I consider how much they talk about my Lakers, I consider how much they talk about Giannis, I consider how much they talk about Joel, I consider how much they talk about the Celtics, and all these different teams that they talk about, Dame, and all these different Kyrie. Jokers don't get enough shine. So there's balance to be had in regards to this conversation. If they want to move a narrative in regards to the Nuggets, it's not like they've been oversaturating us with Nuggets coverage. No, I'm not saying that. But I do see that there is a narrative in place that is being forced in regards to this team, and I know for a fact that it ain't assessing their team properly. No different than the Brooklyn Nets and the Phoenix Suns and the Clippers and all the other teams that they do this with. They want to tell the American people that these teams are better than they are, only for them to throw their marketing money into that or betting money into those teams, and those teams lose. They lose. And so I feel like y'all getting duped by the Nuggets, man. Y'all being duped by a really solid team, but ain't more solid than the team they're coming up against. Ain't more solid than us. Not at all. And that's not like some weird thing. We had a chance to put our team together halfway through the season, bro. If the Nuggets had a chance to put their team together halfway through the season, they'd be better than everybody else. This is not some sorcery or nothing. This is cause and effect. We made in-season trades. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So that's what I think ultimately makes us better than this team on paper. And what looks like it's going to be on paper should translate on the floor. So that is my thought. As always, I want to share those thoughts with you guys as much as possible on this channel so that we can get it to the right eardrums. That's where my intentions are. I look at this team and I know for a fact that they can beat the damn Nuggets. I think we proved that in the fourth quarter of the game, and if it wasn't for a couple of mistakes down the stretch that we should know better than to make, with all the losses we lost, making bad decisions down the stretch of basketball games this season, and we're still doing dumb stuff. LeBron, I was so angry with him at the end of the game. I was. And it's easy to get angry at him because of certain stuff that he does, because it's so much responsibility on him to play well. And from night to night, he does so much stuff that actually takes away from the team from a statistical standpoint. You know what I mean? But it's like, you got this looming thing where you like, as a talking head, it's like, yo, it's still LeBron, he's respected, you gotta, but it's just like, yo, bro, I'm not trying to assess his entire history when I'm trying to assess what's happening tonight. I'm just looking at a player on my team who either did something I appreciate or didn't, and so I wrestle with that. You know, and I wrestle with that. It's like, yo, you gotta take into account all the great things he's done for your team. You wouldn't even be in this position if he didn't choose you. You'd still be stuck with Larry Nance and the kids. And it's like, okay, cool, that's great. But while he's here and we're in this situation, can his effort not be discarded by him by doing stuff that throws the game away at the end, or stuff that just discards certain possessions when they matter so much. And so we pick apart excellence. We talk about the greatest players of all time. We talk about Shaq, Kobe, and all these guys. We're looking at Jokic, and he's defined himself as one of them. You just want the guy who's already been one of them for the last 20 years to just not be the reason you damn lose. Literally, not be the reason you lose. Not let low-frequency ego stuff be the reason you lose. Bro, just because you can't accept the fact that you can't hit threes does not mean I should be living and dying with your inability to hit threes, fam. Overcome that demon. Tell yourself what you need to tell yourself so we don't all have to lose because you want to take a low percentage shot. Ego stuff, bro, that leads to losing. So that's why I have a problem with what I'm seeing there. I like LeBron James, but I just think he wrestles with this kind of stuff so much until it makes you say stuff like, yo, I don't want you taking a three at the end of the game. And then you wrestle with the idea that you've seen him hit so many threes at the end of games. So it's like, yes, I do. I want him taking threes at the end of games. I just want him taking ones that he can hit on nights when he's been hitting shots. Not on nights when he's been absolutely cold. And it's the Western Damn Conference Finals. And all the different variables that came with this specific game and how we needed to snatch it from that team. And altitude. It's so many different variables that you want him to be accountable for. Because this is his timeline we're on. And so if we're going to live and die with you, can we live and die with you doing things that help the team? All the different times, all these teams and these analysts have talked about how LeBron makes the right play this, the right play that. Can we get the right play in that situation? I watched it a million times. I know that you can say he made the right play because Jamal Murray had a couple steps off of him. He was playing him too far away. Jamal Murray comes up to his neck and he can shoot over that man with ease. I don't think it was a bad shot. It's just a bad shot when you ain't hit none of them all night and you've been shooting 20% all series, all playoffs. You see what I'm saying? It's not it's a good rhythm shot for anybody in that situation, right? Being played that way. By definition, I want all NBA players to look at that situation and say, yo, I have an open shot right now. He's playing off of me. Everybody can say that. But what I want LeBron James to do is also say this person in front of me is small, so I could put the back to the basket, spin off of him. I could do something. I can do a lot of different things right now that'll take advantage of the size mismatch. I do not have to step into a three. We're down by a three. We got 50 seconds to go. It's a one possession game. I could take this guy off the dribble. Maybe he flops off of me, offensive foul. Maybe he fouls me. Maybe I do a turnaround fadeaway J. Maybe if I put my back to him, he flops off of me. It's a lot of things you got to consider when you're a much bigger guy against a guy like that. Maybe you try to put the ball on the ground, he gets it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you start dribbling, he's small enough to take it. It's a lot of things to consider. All the other guys around were locked up. It wasn't like you had many passing options in a situation. All of that is fine, bro. But the three-point shot shouldn't be the shot you take if you ain't hit none. If you ain't hit none, and this is the circumstance, we were down by 27, the other team can't miss. All of these different things, including the Western Conference Finals, to think about. I got to live and die with a much higher percentage shot than just simply Jamal Murray mismatch on LeBron James. Let me ask you something, LeBron. Is there any chance you think Mike Malone put Jamal in that situation to bait you into shooting that shot? Because a smart enough coach did that and won because of it, friend. Simply put. It's the same thing I said about Vando threes when we go to look for him to shoot the three. It's there for a reason. It's open for a reason. And at the end of the day, yes, we can take that shot. But the defense would prefer us to. And so we have to think about that when we're taking it. They want you to do that. So your want should be something other than that. And that, my friends, is what we need to be honest about when we're taking these stupid three-point shots that they're leaving us an ability to take. This formula is why I believe there's merit to the idea that some of these coaches do certain things to put themselves in purposeful holes. It's the exact same psychology, if you're following me. It's why I've convinced myself this is actually going on. Because they do this in other areas. Anyway, so that's really what I want to say there. My Los Angeles Lakers, man. We're in the Western Conference Finals, and everything is very, very urgent. If we don't bring the effort necessary, I don't think I've used the word effort enough in this series. We definitely did against the Golden State Warriors because we look at them as a team that you had to overcome to beat them. This team, you got to wake up for to beat them. You got to listen to all the malarkey about how they're greater than they are, and then you got to go out there and face who they actually are as a great team. Maybe not as great as they said they were, but great enough to defeat you if you don't stay keen on every single possession. So block out the noise, block out the disrespect, block out the distractions, and certainly block out everything that happened in the first game. And get back out there and look at what you did in the fourth quarter as a means of carrying forth the intensity, the confidence, the belief, and the understanding that you actually can match up with this big guy and his team. You actually can, despite the pundits telling you don't have a chance, despite everything on paper telling you should dominate. Ignore both of that set of crap and just look at the fact that you did some things in the fourth quarter that worked. Offensive glass. We've struggled in the offensive glass all playoffs. All playoffs. But we have the personnel to help ourselves there. So that's deliberate. When we go 3-guard lineups, we're going to suck on the glass. We're not a deficient team on the glass, and we just choose to be by going small. Do I have to say that in some other variation for we understand it? We can rebound. We just got to use the right people to do so. God, some of the stuff is so easy to see, man, and you just hope that our team understands that when it's game time in the Western Conference Finals, these are not things we should even have to be talking about. These are things that we should already have had worked into our mindset halfway through the damn season. And right now, we should be playing our best ball, doing nothing to hurt ourselves and everything to hurt the other team. Why are we not there? Why are we not there? That's what I have to ask my basketball club. So this is it, man. This is what I'm talking about. Excellence is not required to win the championship in 2023. You got to give effort, but not excellence. And we got to take advantage of that. Fact of the matter is, it's a soft field out there, man. People got to lie about teams to make them seem as great as the teams that came before them, like the Spurs and the Heatles and the Warriors and then the Lakers of the past. These teams ain't as good as these teams. They not. Half of these teams will wake up when they want to wake up, go to sleep when they want to go to sleep. That kind of thing on the basketball floor. All 4 of these teams left would have got stomped out by the Spurs in the past. All of them. Easily. Sweeps maybe. 5-game series. All of them. So what I'm telling you is we got to take advantage of that by being as smart as we absolutely can and wiping the floor with the rest of the field just the same. Because the Denver Nuggets ain't better than us, the Celtics ain't better than us, and the Miami Heat ain't better than us. That's it. I'm not playing about that. I'm not confused about that. I've seen the Denver Nuggets. I understand how great they are offensively against whack-off defensive teams, even though I'm not supposed to pay attention to anybody who's defending them. It's just that they're doing what they're doing. You know, we could actually line the Denver Nuggets up in a gym and have them just run scrimmages, if you guys want to talk about how awesome their offense is, against no defense. We can certainly do that if that's what people want to do, since we want to go around giving the Denver Nuggets all the credit in the world like they running the Phoenix Suns offense 05 or something. If that's who they are, then why even have defense against them in the first place? They don't need no defense if we ain't going to pay attention to the fact that they ain't got no defense coming up against them 9 out of 10 times any damn way. So that's what I got to say, man. The overinflated heralding of a non-championship basketball team just because they have an MVP. It seems kind of crazy to me, given the fact that we got an MVP 4 times over, 5 times over. How many MVPs did LeBron got? So it's just, to me, it just seems like people are being... They're trying to phase us into the Nugget era of things, which is fair, as I've already discussed, because ain't nobody ever talked about the Nuggets, so this should be their time, but it just shouldn't be at the expense of actual data. It shouldn't be at the expense of the actual assessment of these two teams. So that's what I got to say, man. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll leave room for that. Salute the Kobe minute. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Nuggets are very, very good. Maybe defense doesn't matter because they're so good offensively that it does not matter. Maybe Anthony Davis playing defense doesn't matter because Jokic is Jokic, and that's what it is. Jokic's going to have to go out there and prove that. He's going to have to prove that. Pundits going to say whatever they got to say. I'm going to say something too. But at the end of the day, it's up to Jokic to prove that he's actually that dominant against Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And if he is, hey, we'll call him the GOAT. forget it. We'll just give him the GOAT comment. We'll give it to him. Nobody else needs that but him if he's able to pull off what it is that they're saying is inevitable here. When I know damn well he ain't seen nothing but Phoenix and Minnesota. Phoenix and Minnesota don't play defense, in case that hasn't been said in this series, in this video. Phoenix and Minnesota don't play defense. Everybody clear on that? They don't play defense. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching.